Welcome back to the channel. So it's good to get back commuting this week, and I was driving a car I've got on loan the last month, just for the last of the cold frosty weather, but I've missed the bike and I've missed the cheapness of the bike. £12 a week on petrol for tankful compared to £40 a week. I worked that one out. So but I appreciate a loan of a car until I can get this van back on the road. You've probably read the tale or listened to the tale of woe in the last wee film yesterday. So anyway, you'll probably see this Wednesday sometime. This was Tuesday morning. So of course, with the clocks changing, we're now dark at 6:15 AM when I leave for work to get up to work for 6:45 for 7 o'clock start. So it's a bit on the dark side, being overcast this morning. Forecast is rain. So I think I'm in for a wet day, but I thought, what the hell, just take the bike anyway. Then I'll get a daylight film back at 3 o'clock. But it's quite good thinking about it now that the clock, it's light till 8 o'clock now, so I've actually got 5 hours after I finish work at 3 o'clock, so that's like a half day at the weekend. So plenty of time to do it, filming now when I'm riding home. So I've actually got 7 different routes I can take to work to mix things up, but I tend to always just go the coast road in the morning, and I'll certainly always usually go the coast road when it's like this pretty dark, rather on the narrow roads, or country roads as such. So I just follow the coast road between the towns of Dunbar and North Berwick, then along to Archfield, to the estate. And yeah, it's I don't know, I just enjoy riding the bike at this time of the day because look how many cars are on the road. You either get someone way ahead of you or you get someone sitting behind you. They won't overtake you unless you slow right down. But you've more or less got the road to yourself. Peace and quiet. Great. So with being a greenkeeper, you change start times through the year. You go on at 6 o'clock by April right through till end of September. So you get to see the same cars, and then you start, as the time changes of the daylight, you start going into work later. The worst time for me is leading up to Christmas, December, because you've got more cars obviously heading up to Edinburgh. And usually come towards me it is because they're heading out to the A1. But you get to know the car, so you know if you come up behind someone they're going to turn left off here or there. So I'm quite happy just sit behind folk for a while, and I know the car in front, because I've seen it turning off, is going to turn left at Whitekirk. So something quite weird happened today when I got down to North Berwick. You'll see further on. It's an old person, I think, and they drive a Fiat Panda, and I came across them last month. So they sit right through North Berwick, dead on 20, totally sticking to the 20 mile speed limit, which actually no one does, especially commuting. Everyone sits about 25, 30. And they get out of North Berwick, and then they're just up to 40 mile an hour. Now you can imagine all these big cars going up to Edinburgh to the offices early in the morning. These folk they'll overtake you if you're sitting at 60 and it's clear in front of you. These folk don't want to hang around. These are the folk that leave at the same time, whether it's 5 degrees like it is today, pretty dry, no frost, or -3 with frost and ice alerts. They're pretty daft folk really doing that. So anyway, you'll get a laugh at this person that I came up behind. I got stuck behind them in the high street, Oh my goodness, wait to see this. But that's further on anyway. So we're coming up to Whitekirk now, and then we'll turn right and head east. And the sky should get a bit brighter as you'll see the sea. I'd guess this car should turn left if they're going their usual route. Yep, there they go. So I've got an empty road in front of me now. So right in front of me is Whitekirk Church, which you can't actually see in the dark. So I was actually a lot darker this morning than I expected, because I didn't expect it to cloud over. Last night it was really light till about 20 past 8, which is quite surprising. But yeah, so we'll get a skyline now that we're heading out of Whitekirk. So with the heated gloves on the lowest setting, and my nice warm work boots that are proving to be really nice, and worth paying the extra 60 quid on top of what we get to spend on boots. Helly Hansen boots I've got. If you've got warm feet, warm hands, and you've got like a windbreaker on, or even just like a gilet thing underneath your jacket, you're pretty cosy. Well, buff around your neck and that. So yeah, what else has been happening? Not much. I did a wee bit of a chat yesterday about things that I'm doing and why I'm doing it. I forgot to mention one thing in that, which was the Jeep, and I've got my gearbox to lift back into my Jeep. And I've also didn't say why I'm buying a Mutt Hilts 125 as a second motorbike. And the idea is, when I get my van back, or I go and buy another van, I'm going to put a tow bar on it anyway, and I'm going to put a trials bike carrier on the tow bar mounts, and they're only £90 to buy from Dave Cooper. And what I'm going to then do is put the 125 in the back of the van and drive up north, because once you're up in the Highlands you don't need or want even a big bike. So imagine I can leave here 3 hours, I'm up to Dalwhinnie, up the A9, I'll avoid all the traffic, the wind, the rain, the weather can do what it wants. I can get up there on a Thursday night after work, and I can like kip in the van if I want, if it's crap weather, or I can head off with my camping gear on the bike, and say I could go across the Speen Bridge from Dalwhinnie, and then I'm straight up to Skye the next day, go and see my friend Dave, who's a policeman on Skye, lives at Dunvegan. Go and see him for a couple of days, spin round Skye, come back on the Sunday night, get the van, and then drive back on the Monday to start work again on Tuesday. And I'm thinking it's going to be a bike that's going to be even cheaper to run than Enfield. We'll probably do the same MPG because you're going to work it harder. It does 70 flat out, whatever, doesn't matter up there and on their country roads. But the chain and tyre and brake wear are going to be next to nothing. I remember when I had 125s, everything lasted forever. And you just don't care about the speed when you're on country roads. You know, you're bopping along at 40, 50, maybe 60. So it saves this bike for long days out in summer, going down the borders, or even going up to the west coast, or you know. So that's my plan. And then come the winter, it gives me a bike just to trash on the winter roads, and I can also use it more safely and easier off-road when you're on your own and stuff. Now, I know there's not green lanes in Scotland before everyone starts going, nah, you can't go off-road in green lanes in Scotland, there's no law. Well, yes and no. I've done a lot of trail riding in the past. Back in the 90s, I was actually a TRF member. And if any of you are TRF members, you might know of me, because I used to have the Northumberland TRF group come up to Scotland, and I took them on green lanes. We have old roads, they're just not documented as green lanes. And I found areas, I'm not even going to say where they are because I don't want them ruined by the wrong folk going there, but there is places where they start finish on public roads, the hedges are cut, blah blah blah, no one bothers you, you know. And if you actually stop, speak to the landlords and farmers and just say, I'm just coming down here, I ride old roads, blah blah blah, and you are on like an old looking bike, usually that's a talking point. Or if you're out in the Jeep, that I found as well. And you can link up a lot of tracks. It's not like green laning in England, it's not, where you've got some really good testing tracks and lovely scenic hill routes and stuff. But there is stuff you can ride and no one will bother you. So I wanted to include that in the chat yesterday, but just run out of time. So I was going to hack this into a 5-minute film because it was too dark, but I thought I can use this time just to tell you a bit more, because I know a lot of folk won't watch my cycling videos because they'll think it's just about the cycling. But I think you'll find if you watch my cycling films or my Jeep films, and once my Jeep's running again, which will be in a couple of weeks, you'll find it all intermingles. That's where the folk that read the blog, and they sort of know that, you know. But anyway, I don't want you wasting time that you don't want to watch stuff that doesn't interest you. But that's the reason I'm buying a 125. It's the lightweight for putting on the back of the van, because you can put 130 kilograms in the back of my wee car. The Enfield's just too heavy. But when I stuck the Enfield into a ditch, I couldn't even put it in first gear and wheelie that front wheel out of the ditch to get out. Chris was obviously behind me in his Willis Jeep filming me, so we lifted the front wheel out. But it was a wee wake-up call that could have went a lot worse, and I could have trashed this bike and ruined it. Now I often think I've ruined it painting it, but there's so many of these comments saying that's the coolest looking Enfield. But anyway, I've done it, and it's what I wanted to do. They weren't bringing the signals green in, so I did it. Now they are getting the signals green. What have I done at the value of it? Probably maybe £1,000 off its value. It'll be worth £2,000 instead of £3,000 in 3 to 4 years time. But it'll have 40,000 miles on it by then. It'll have been used, and I'll have had the fun out of it. So if I get something back to get another signals green when I need to get another one, then that's what I'll do. It's still cheap motorcycling. I'm looking at other bigger bikes and they're all 5, 6, 7, 8 grand, and I can't afford them. I can't take finance now because I work part time. I'm lucky that I've got money saved, but that's not for buying bikes and stuff, you know. But I do have a lot of bicycles that they're worth more than what I paid for them, because I sourced the parts second hand, buying and swapping and wheeling and dealing, and I built them, and I've now got them to sell word of mouth, because I don't advertise them because bike theft and all that carry on, strangers turn up at the house. So anyway, that's me waffling enough about all that. So back to today, and I believe the rain's to come in about 8 o'clock, so we'll probably get started work and then it'll come on. But it's looking pretty grey out there, isn't it? Look at the first force, how dark that is. So, into a sleepy North Berwick, and you'll see maybe 2 people. Now, watch this. Coming down here, minding my own business, and we get down to the high street, and there's that panda. So, we'll catch up in a bit. You hear the morning chorus there, blackbirds and starlets singing. That's a good sign that spring's on the way. So yeah, this wee car, I don't know what they're on, if they're drunk or just old or what. I don't know where they go. I think they probably go to Drem Station or something. Now they're driving up here and they're swerving around a bit. That says to me they're drunk. And then they start driving on the left hand side where cars park. Right at the left now. This is the weird thing. Well, not weird thing, but I know the wheelie bins ahead. I can see them and they're parked in this. So, watch this. There they go, into the side of the road, and I'm thinking, where are they going? That's where all the cars park. And then suddenly you'll see the car just swerves out the way. They realise, ooh, see the white line? They're inside it. How did that person not pile into those bins right there? I don't know. They're still all over the place. I don't know. So anyway, I'm hoping the traffic lights at red up here, and I'll just get in front of them and get away out the road. Aye, you meet them, don't you? Keeping right out to the side from them. I'm not going in front of them in the cycle box or that, in case it's an automatic and they stomp on that accelerator. Alright, here we go, just nail it and get away. Alright, they're miles behind, that's fine. I don't know what they're up to. So I don't use a mic for my camera, it's on the front of my helmet with a wind foam thing on it. But you can hear me chatting. I was hoping I could use original audio, but that's what I've had to do over audit on it. So I was listening to the weather forecast this morning, and they were saying that March has actually been one of the wettest months, wettest Marches for a long time. I'm just pointing there at the darkness of the sky. That's really dark over to the left. That's west of Edinburgh. Sorry, south of Edinburgh to our west, which is down the Lammermuir Hills or hills. The rain always gets dragged down the hills, as I've probably heard me saying, or it goes out into the Firth of Forth estuary on our right, between here and Fife, and goes down there. So I'll not really much else to add today. I'll give you a film riding home in daylight. It'll probably be in the rain, but that's something different. So what I tend to do when it's wet weather is I head inland and take back roads back, rather as sit in traffic with the spray and stuff. It's easier as well if you're going to film, because you're not getting all the spray off the cars. The GoPro Hero 10 has some type of coating on its camera lens. It's got a name, I can't remember, but basically it makes the water droplets run off. So it works quite well. If you can turn your head, the wind will flick the water off the lens. The older 8s and that never had that, and they were awful for big dots lying on the lens, you know. But yeah, nice and quiet, isn't it? Come summer on a Saturday or Sunday during the day, this is absolutely mobbed, as you know. So anyway, this is Dirleton Village on our right with the castle. What else I'm going to add? I'm at 5,000 miles now on my bike. People were asking how many miles I've done, because I never got out in February on the bike, having labyrinthitis, and then March I've basically been driving that Mercedes car I've got loan of, which I've still got until I can get my van done. I'll give that till, I don't know, at least keep going and out till I want to get a van, because I'm missing it for my cycling mostly. For the pair of us, we go out together, paddleboard and cycling, or both cycling, and then as I say, once I get that van done, paid for or whatever, I can then go and buy my Hilts 125. So I'm going to sign off soon. That's us going into the estate, and I'll be back. I'll put the next film on tomorrow, riding back, and that can keep you going till the weekend. I'm not sure where I'm going this weekend. We've nothing planned. We're not going away anywhere, so I will choose one of my stuff on my list and go and take you somewhere new, show you a bit more nice places of East Lothian, or even further afield into Berwickshire again. So thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this. If you don't enjoy it, don't leave a hate, just don't watch it. But thanks again for all those who do watch all the films. It helps the channel grow, I guess. I don't know how this whole monetization YouTube thing works. I can't work out how folk get thousands of views on films just the same, and most of us only get 2, 3, 4, 500 views over a week, and then the films slowly crop to about 1,000 and stop at that. I don't know how it all works. I'll maybe work out one day. Anyway, I'm off to do some work, so thanks again, and ride safe, take care, see you all soon, bye for now.